Welcome back to Benji's Corner Podcast, Season 2, Episode 2, Part 1. Today it is with great honor to share this time and space with the one and only me freely. I hope his story inspires you to chase your dreams and to keep running free. With God, all things are possible. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe as we continue to bring you great content and stories. Thank you in advance for all your support.
Hey yo, it's your boy Benji. I'ma need y'all to support my brother Me Freely. You feel me? He running across America. I'ma need y'all to go ahead and scan that QR code. We got the GoFundMe right there. You can scan the one right next to it. That's to his Facebook. You know what I'm saying? We just supporting good vibes, good people, and doing good things, Just thank you for watching and tuning in today. You don't know how much you are truly appreciated. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all been on this journey with me, and as we get into his testimony, what he's doing, just sit back, grab you some popcorn. You know what I'm saying? And let's get it. Hey yo, it's your boy Benji.
Finally, my only advice to my brothers and sisters coming up: when your father asks you to do something, do it proudly, with a willingness like no other, because he notices those things, the little things. So don't complain, don't stomp your feet. Do it as though it's him you're doing it for, because it is. Acknowledge your father in your actions by the way of your willingness. This is not the end, only the beginning. I'm excited and willing for what he has for me after TCLI. Now it's time. Thank you, Jesus, and thank you all.
Hallelujah!
Today's podcast is brought to you by our sponsor, Saved by Grace Living, embracing love, building dreams.
And we are live, y'all, in 4K.
Wow.
Hey yo, it's your boy Benji, and welcome to Benji's Corner Podcast, Episode 2. Y'all won't believe who I got here with me. The one and the only. If you're in Minnesota, you know that you know. Me Freely. Thank you so much, brother, for coming on the show today, man.
Hey, Benji, it's a pleasure, brother. It's a pleasure. You know what? I just want to say thank you for coming up here to TCLI after realizing that you had to drive all the way down from Burnsville. So, man, bro, appreciate that you came up here and to do this, And so just want to say thank you for coming up here.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that a lot,
Yeah.
Like where I had to, like from the first time, like when I seen your journey, what I'm saying, your testimony, like where like for y'all who don't know, follow him on Facebook as well, because it's amazing how if you're in the Teen Challenge community, then you know that where we go through graduations and different things, and I kept seeing him pop up on my timeline, like where I don't know what camera he uses, but excellent photos. I'm like, the scenery, where's he getting these views from? And then he's running, and I'm like, okay, I like to say I'm a beginner runner, but this man, when they do what they do, like the Steph Curry of running, this man right here, like it's and then I seen he had these hats. It was like running free, and I'm like, okay, so I look a little bit more into him, and reach out to him, like, yo, what's up, man? You got any hats, this and that? And it's been then I start seeing more of like your testimony and like what God has done in your life, and that's what really just blew me away, man.
Yeah,
it's beautiful to watch. I've come through it myself as well, but to see how open and how willing you are to share his testimony, it's like watching scripture, like when you go on stage.
Yeah, well, Benji, you know what, bro? Obviously you were in TC too, so like coming in here, we don't know. Coming to TC, we don't know what's gonna happen, And so when I got in here, I just wanted to stop drinking, bro, But then when I learned about God and Jesus and how much He loved me and how much He would provide for me, with all the stuff that I was going through, and just that love, and the encouragement and the people, especially around that God had put in my life through TC Duluth. And so through those encouragement and that love, bro, that's what set it off for me. And I finally, for the first time, I realized that, you know what, I could actually do something, because I have that encouragement and that love from not just the TC people, but from God or from Jesus, in confirmations. And I was like, wow, I've never had that in my life, and so just having that is so powerful. And the thing is that I just want people to realize that that could happen to anybody, not just me, but how do we get from that point to this point? How do we grab people's attention and say, you know what, if you just pay attention and listen to God and Jesus, your life could be different, your life could be so much better. And so I think that that's where I'm at right now, is just grabbing that attention. And then when I got to TC, I started running again, bro, because I had that, but through my addiction I lost it. And so I started running again because I was just sitting there, bro, one day in Duluth.
Yeah.
And I was like watching that treadmill. Somebody was on it, and I was like, man, how about I get back on there? How about,
Okay.
how about I just, and I got back on there, bro, and I just started running. And then I never looked back. And all of a sudden, I had this inkling that, you know what? You can do this and help others too, how God is helping you. And that was when I was already transitioning into long term,
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then that inkling was like, you know what? What if you ran and, so people could see what I'm doing in your life, and that I had that little small voice of inkling in me. And I was like, oh, whatever, it might go away. It never did, bro.
What? It never did.
Yeah. And
Okay.
so it never did. And then it started just getting louder and louder. And then when I came over here to TCLI, I just realized that this is not going away. This is something that I have to do. And so now that I'm already done with TCLI, that is the next step in the process that I must do, in this walk. And so I was thinking about other things, but for me, this is what God has put on my heart. And I'm going to do this first before I come back and do all the other stuff. And so when you reached out and you're like, bro, I want to get one of those hats. I'm like, yeah, bro, you could get it, and you're like, and then I told you about my, what I'm doing. And you're like, okay, cool. And then you came over. And then I was like, man, this dude, he's got a, you know, I didn't know you were doing a podcast too, and you were doing your own podcast. And I'm like, wow, maybe we should just, I'm running. So it was one of those things where everything just clicked.
Yeah.
How when things happen and it's supposed to happen, it just kind of click in those
Yeah.
things. And you know what, Benji, the best things are when you let it happen that way, instead of forcing. Because us coming from the addiction world, we always try to force things, bro. But now when God does it, it's so seamlessly. And that's when you know that it's right. When God takes care of it, it's seamlessly. So
Yeah. So smooth.
yeah, right. And so that's how I got into this part of my life, coming from addiction to recovery and now giving back,
That
and
part.
so
Yeah.
yeah, so now it's coming all the way through. And now, bro, I think that I'm going to use this to reach as many people as I can, because God has given me the love and the passion for running. And through that, I'm going to share it with everybody and say, you know what, what's your what's something that God has given you? You could use that for the good of God, And I think that when people start realizing that and seeing that, that's when the movement starts. We can make a difference, bro. Imagine if you
Yeah.
have a gift and you're like, okay, I want to use this for the good of the kingdom, for the bettering the kingdom. Imagine like 5 of us do it. Imagine 10 of us do it. And
Yeah.
how far we could push, instead of grabbing each other and pulling us down, how much we could move along, or using it in a selfish way. That's
Yeah.
why, bro, like right now I used to run marathons, but to me that doesn't compare to what I could do for God with the gift that he's given me, so it
Yeah.
kind of um not tarnished, but it just doesn't give me the same appeal, because this is something bigger than running. This is something bigger than myself. This is something that I'm able to live my life and share it and help push the kingdom. And for me, that's what it's all about. And I'm proud to do that, because of what God's done in my life, the love that he's given me, the darkness that he's uh, grab me out of, that pit of darkness where you don't have any hope. You're just walking the streets and like in shame and all that stuff,
the pity, like when
Yeah,
the
bro. So
depressions
I'm
head
pretty sure
down.
you've been there, and a lot of these guys here at TC, they've been down that road, and so talking to you or them, we get it, we understand that, what, we know where we're coming from, and just to be here, to be alive, and to, being saved by God, and now being able to give back, that's even two times as, you know a miracle than just being saved.
Yeah, it's for
So
real. I
yeah.
know it's like I like when you talk about like giving back too. I want to use this time to like where you just put it on my heart. Like this just came to my mind. Like where I want to give a shout out to Minnesota Adult and Teen Challenge.
Right.
Like thank y'all
Amen.
so much. Y'all are creating men like us, like men of God. Like where you know that God is working somewhere when it's
Right.
like when you look at what's produced, like the
Right.
fruits. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like how we're they accepted us at our lowest when we were, shameful, doubtful, depressed, going through it. And then to actually like care for us. And for those of you who are struggling and watching and going through something, find either like go to www.minnesotaadultandteenchallenge.com, just Google it because they're all over the nation, Costa Rica.
Right.
You can find help, and trust me, just walk in the doors. They always have a nice admissions place. They'll work with you whether you have money, no money, insurance, like because I didn't have anything at the
Right. Right.
time. I think I might have had, how we all got that one little
Right.
backpack,
Right.
toothbrush and a phone charger.
Yeah.
And like, so like, thank y'all because y'all have, God is working through y'all to help us on our journeys, and y'all have touched countless
Yeah.
lives. Like I've been on like the trains, and I see you got like Mark Man of Christ, like
Yep. Yep.
what is that? Shout out Plymouth Covenant too, like where it's just amazing how we're the time that we're here. And like when they first when I used to hear oh man, a year of recovery, a year of sobriety,
Right.
it's really scared. A
Yep.
lot of us, like, we're scared of success. We're scared of what if we're able to do things right, what if we're able to
Right.
have like joy, and to continue to do things that like we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to be, don't be drunken with wine, what I mean, things like
Yeah.
that. And not realizing how much we were our biggest threats and biggest hurts to ourselves. So I'm proud of you too for coming out of
Yeah.
that, because like when, as you were mentioning that dark place, I was getting goosebumps because
Yeah,
like
bro.
to think
Yeah.
about like when I look back, like I'm on, what is it, 2 years, 8 months, and maybe like 3 days or something like that
Yeah.
for my recovery time. I got the Teen Challenge, the MTC app,
Yeah.
so like I always look at that and I'm like, wow, I'm really not going back. And
Yeah.
every day to know, once you hit a certain point, and like for those who are like still struggling, like where like they may relapse, always just keep coming back.
Right.
Like
Right.
you fall, you get back up. What I'm saying? That what's that? Fall 7 times, get up 8. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
And like, but to like where I feel like you're at a similar spot like me, where that going back is not an option.
Yeah, bro, you know what? That's the thing I like about being here is that you see people that have making the mistake of falling back, but yet when they come back, they are welcome back, and I see them coming back and just succeeding after that. I see a lot of uh, guys in restoration. For those that don't know, it's for the guys that graduated and unfortunately have to come back, but I've seen a lot of those guys come back and be successful, and so I think that the what I love about being a Christian and being a believer is that it's okay, you're always welcome to come back and be here and take a pause for a minute and get yourself right and get yourself back into the righteousness of God and walk that path again and make your life right. And I think that a lot of these guys, a lot of people, they don't get that chance, out in the
Yeah.
world, and they don't want to come back because they face that sad reality of like one time and that's it. I get a job, I fail, I go back home, my family, they'll call me like a loser, they'll say you're not good enough, and so that's the only time that they'll have. And so when they come back here, you're always welcome back and to succeed again. And so that's what I like about it, the encouragement, bro, is
Yeah.
so big here. And I understand it's scary because a lot of us, we have never experienced success, you know? And so you're like, man, when is this going to turn bad? You know what I mean? And so you're just waiting for that. But after a while, you're like, wow, this is actually working, you know? And so it takes a while, but when you get that spark, you just got to remember to hold on long enough to get that spark and continue to keep the flow going. One of the biggest things that I will never forget is when Pastor Rich came and preached here, and he talked about keeping that flow with God, that connection, that hose. And it doesn't matter where the hose lies. It could be laid down like in dirt. But as long as you keep that connection flowing, life will grow, you know? And so I'll never forget that when he came and preached here. And from then on, I was like, man, no matter what happens in my life, I just got to keep that connection, that flow, and everything else around it could be whatever, you know? But as long as I have that, I'll always be okay, you know? And I think that that's what God really wants for us, you know, is just to believe in him and rely on him and know that everything's going to be all right. And bro, some of the stuff that we have today, anxieties and stuff like that, is because we don't rely on him enough, you know? And we start taking everything on ourselves, and then that's when we start worrying and stuff like that, you know? And so once you have that belief and you see the fruits of the blessing, you just got to go with it, you know, and believe and have faith, you know? So
that real faith,
right.
like, you know, it does, like, you know, people don't know what it's like to where, you know what I'm saying, you take that chance, like where God, he sends you, you know what I'm saying, something for you. Like, how'd you come up with the name Running Free? Or like, how'd you get the name Me Freely?
Okay, so you know what? That question's been asked before. So I could take the easy way out and say, you know what, go watch the other. But I will tell you real quick that I got that name from my uncle. When I first came here to the US, I was 1 year old. And then my dad, I had a different name, a Hmong name.
Okay.
But this was in the 70s, so it was kind of hard for them to put that name in English because my parents didn't speak English. And the people here, they were new to Hmong people. So my uncle was here already, and he told my dad, why don't you just call, since you're in a free country, call me free, you know, because you're free. Yeah, so bro, yeah, so that's how I got my name. So that's how I got my name, Me Free. And bro, you know what? Growing up, I hated that name, bro, because you know what? That name, you could twist it around any way you want to, you know? And so it's kind of a name, an American word, but it's not a name. So people don't believe that it's my name. And so they think that if they use it in some sort of way that wasn't kind, I would be okay with it because it's a phrase, you know? But I'm thinking like, this is my name. Right, like, and they're thinking like, that's a word, bro. And so they would use it in like different different phrases.
Yeah, people were trying to be creative.
Yeah, and so I'm like, you know, in the midst of being the paying the price for being that connection to the phrase that they're trying to get at, you know, I had to suffer those little you know, but it's good now. You know what? I grew up and I thought about it and I'm like, you know what? Um I enjoy it now. I like it because it's different. You know, I'm like, nobody's gonna have that same name, Me Free. But I will tell you this though, I was in 7th grade, right? And then I had a teacher. So I showed up in class and we had a substitute teacher. He came up and he wrote free on the board. So I was like, wow, how did this dude get my name up there? And then we all sat down and then he introduced himself and his name was Mr. Free.
Oh, what?
Yeah, and so that's the first time. Sadly, first time ever connected with a person, and not like a non-family person member person that actually had the same name as me. So some sort of way, we kind of bonded after that, of just a name, and so that taught me that, what, you could bond over every small little thing, because of a similarity in in the in not just your race but your name and stuff like that. He was a African American descent. His name was Mr. Free. And so that was the first time in my life I actually felt like connected with different people that weren't the same ethnic as me, because growing up I was always taught to just hang around your ethnic. But for the first time in my life I felt a connection in 7th grade with a person because of our name being a different ethnic. So to me that was kind of cool, because all this my whole life my parents been telling me, stay with your cousins, hang out with them, you'll be safer, you'll be, they'll take care of you. But here I am in 7th grade realizing that, what, I have this connection. What if my parents were wrong and I could be friends, so
It
like
was
that.
when your world opened up.
Yeah, bro. And you know what, I'm gonna tell you this, Benji, that we're doing such a disservice by just hanging out with people that look like us. I love it to hang out with different people because you learn so much. You get out there and you put yourself out there with different people, and you just become a better all around person, bro. I'm telling you
That
that.
part, thank you.
I I know that my parents, they raised me up to be with my own ethnic because of safety, and it wasn't because of prejudice or anything. But now as I grow older and I come here to TC, I realize that there's so much I could learn from other people besides my ethnic, like I learned so much from people that if I didn't come to TC, I would have never connect with, bro.
That's how I
You know
liked about it
what?
too.
I feel like some of these, sometimes I think I look at my brothers here and I'm like, I would never probably hang out with this guy, but you know what? God got me here for a reason. And I'm so glad that I connected with him and he's my brother, because I would have missed out on so much, because this dude is so wise and this guy's got so much to offer. And I'm so glad that I'm part of his life, because if I didn't come here, I would have just been stuck with my own ways. And so, Benji, in a way, it's kind of like, um, like what do they say, like a disguise.
Blessing in
Yeah, they're
disguise.
blessing in disguise, bro,
Yep.
because I've gained so much from just coming here. And I thank God just for that, on top of all the other stuff, just coming here and learning. Like, for instance, I don't know, like, if this would even happen, if running free or meeting Benji or your mission that you're doing right now. I don't know if I would have knew about that. I don't know if you would have, if we didn't cross paths or we didn't go on this route. So in a way, yes, I did have an addiction. Yes, life was hard. But you know what, bro? Every day that I'm alive, I want to thank God, because
Yes.
now all that stuff that I went through, it made me this person, and I could give back now. I could show others that, what? Yeah, you're going to go through that, but just wait. It's going to get better, So as much as you and I, what we've gone through in our past, we're here, so thank God we're here.
Yes.
And
Thank you, God.
yeah, and so we have the chance to. But now, Benji, what are we going to do about it? What are
Yeah.
we going to do now that we are in this? Are we just going to turn our back on God? No, we got to do something about it. We got to push the kingdom. We got to grab more people, because that's, for me, that's my purpose, And so number one is, yeah, we went through all the stuff broken. And number two is realizing that God really loves us. Number three is, now what are we going to do about it? And I think that once you realize those things, you don't take every day. You're grateful for every day, and not a lot of stuff, like the little things that irk you, it doesn't bother you anymore, because you're living for a different purpose. And
Exactly.
so I think that that's what I've realized through my whole TC career. And that's why I wanted to run so bad, because I know that this is when they see me running, they're gonna ask about it. And when they ask about it, I'm gonna be like, God, I'm gonna
Yes,
be like,
that
yeah.
part. That's
So
oh, that's beautiful.
see, so
Yeah.
this is just like how TC was a vessel for us.
Mhm.
Running is something that God's given me so that I could give it back
Yeah.
to Him.
It's a gift and the strength, and how where
Yeah,
people make, like, saying, or it's not just simply running, and like the thing that I really like about it is like how where you're spreading the gospel, how where you're really
yeah,
spreading His word, like where I like when I came across one of your things, bro, I literally got encouraged from seeing your words, because I'm like, yes, you know what I'm saying, you could see God flowing through you. So
yeah,
like that's I really like that. And like where you said, it's not about the trophies anymore and the medals. Like, I heard you're running across America. Is that true?
yeah. That is true.
That is
You
true.
heard right, Benji. I
Okay,
don't know how you
okay.
heard you.
Yeah,
I don't know how
yeah.
you.
I seen some things. I was
Yeah,
doing my homework,
yeah.
and
So
brothers about to run across America. Make sure
yeah.
y'all go to GoFundMe, because what we do here is we support people
Thank
that
you.
have a true and authentic, genuine mission. People that are actually back up what they say they'll do. Like you can see their works, like when they, oh well, where are my dollars going, or this and that, right? One is going to spread the message of Jesus Christ. Like every time when he speaks on, like when he says, I just give it to God. Watch all his videos, go and check out his work. Like I'm serious, like every time, and you'll be blown away by it. Like I wish I also had the gift that he has of speaking of God, and like where so make sure that y'all go, all his descriptions and links will be in the description below, and make sure y'all go click and support, because like, man, this man, and like the thing is, I truly believe in him. Like when like I've had people say, oh yeah, I'm gonna go do this, I'm gonna go do that, but I'm like, I can actually see him doing it, and I know that he's gonna
Yeah,
do it, because and this man is passionate about everything he does. Like it's bigger than just running. It's like God's hand is on him. It's,
yeah. Thank you, Benji, for that. And I know that this guy, he has a lot going too right now. He has his own ministry and his own stuff. So this guy is
thank
doing
you,
all
bro.
this, but he's got his ministry going too. So this guy is doing all sorts of things, different branches for the kingdom of God. He's doing his own thing. He's coming out here giving me a podcast here too, and so he's not able to only do it for himself, but he's able to grab others and bring them along. And so Benji is a renaissance man in the aspects in God's kingdom. So he's doing all
Thank you,
sorts of
man.
things, and I didn't realize this. I was like, man, who's this guy? And I saw that he was this guy be doing his podcast from every angle, everywhere. And I'm like, wow, I'd be waking up like 4 in the morning, getting ready to run, click on Facebook, and I see Benji on there already working and already doing it, like shouting out, doing all this stuff. I'm like, wow, this guy has some energy. And so I'm so glad he's using it for this kingdom and not something else, because if he's using it for something else, it would be such a shame, because I'm glad you're on this side.
Yeah.
But man, this guy, I'm really happy that I've got to meet him and know him, because he's doing a lot for the kingdom and he's got tons of energy, really positive, and he's got his own gifts. His gift is just, being able to talk to people and promote things. And he's just a really genuine, great, good person with a good
Thank you,
heart. And I think that God has given you that, Benji.
thank you,
And
bro.
so I just want to say, you know what, that's just amazing. You come here and you tell me this guy's, but you know what, I see the stuff this guy's doing, and so Benji's doing a lot of great stuff too.
Yeah,
And I
thank
just
you,
want to
man.
give it that back to you, that you're doing great stuff for the kingdom, and you inspire me too. A lot of these guys, they don't realize like that I'm so inspired since I've been here at TC by them too, by their walk.
Mm,
And I think if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be able to. People look at me and they're like, You know what, it's great you're doing that," but I'm like, no, you're inspiring to me. Like I see you, Benji, and I'm like, that dude is inspiring to me. you know what can I do to even push the kingdom harder, because this guy's out there and he's doing all this stuff and he still has the energy to go work and do all this stuff and be the person that he is. So just my walk here at TC, bro, the people, I'm more inspired by them, the people of God, what they're doing with their lives. And I'm so inspired by them, how people are sometimes, even when they slip up, and their ability to just get back up, and persevere and know that there's another day. And so I think that I'm equally as inspired by the people here, everybody here, and especially you too, so I just wanted to let you know that as much as you give me credit, bro, you're inspiring to me, so you doing a lot for me too.
Thank you, man.
And I think, you know what, Benji, that's how it's supposed to be. That's
Yeah.
how we get further. Our iron sharpens iron, because
Yeah.
every notch, when I see you, I push a little higher. When you see me, we push a little higher. We learn from each other, we push a little higher. And the ultimate goal is that we're doing it for something good, and I
Yeah.
think that that's what life is about, is pushing each other to live this life that we could all be proud of, and get others into it too. And so I love the fact that we're pushing each other to inspire each other. And at the end of the day, that's what I'm trying to do ultimately, and say, you know what, if that guy can do it, why and how was he able to do it, and so that's
Yeah.
when the intrigue starts. And I've been inspired like that in my walk here with people up in Duluth and here at TCLI as well. So yeah.
Yeah. Do you? I like how you mentioned iron sharpens iron,
Yeah,
right?
bro.
Because like where sometimes like for me, I'll have you know like kind of like well yeah I guess you can call it like reflecting, what I'm saying, like reflecting, because I feel like I've lived like two lives, like my like for some reason I could still like like how where sometimes you'll get like flashbacks from like like your past or something like that, or maybe like at first I dealt with a lot of triggers, like
Yeah.
where like because alcohol is my DLC too, so it's
Yeah.
like where everywhere I went it was triggering, and it's like when I look to like like social media and stuff like that, right, everyone's still like partying and doing what they do,
Yeah.
right, and so when I reflect back, right, I say what kind of people was I hanging around, what type of community did I build,
Yeah.
not the one that God gave me, but the one that in my own accord or whatnot, right? My own flawedness, the community that I built, and I saw what the product of that was. And then like, when I come here and like, just when we're on this new mission of inspiring people and uplifting them, noticing how we're, it's like where, each of us, like basically it's like we have nonprofits, you know what I mean,
Right.
because we're not running for us, we're not about the medals, the golds, the
Right.
dollars and
Right.
all that, you know what
Yep.
I'm saying, like the way we use our funds, what I'm saying, like the way we tithe is like one of my ways I tithe is I tithe through people. I feel like people, they may have a area where they may be looking for help, or I could see like, oh well, I know how that you could do that
Right.
better, and tithe in that way and letting God use me,
Right.
because like where we all got bills and stuff like that, so it's like I may
Yeah.
not be able to go put 500 in the pot, or something
Right.
like that, but what I'm saying, I try in different ways, you know what I mean, and
Yeah.
seeing how where when I'm around good people like yourselves and good godly men, like men who actually like walk it out, it's really encouraging, and it's really
Yeah.
helping me in so many different ways, so I feel like you've experienced that too.
Yeah, bro. You know what? I think that for me, um, I am inspired by different people, and I've been stuck too. I've coming to TCLI, I was stuck for a little bit, and but the thing is that people think that once you become a Christian or you take this walk, it's going to be nice and rosy and everything. It's not. It's not. You're not going to get up every day all happy and inspired. No, but you know what? At the end of the day, you know that there's a God that loves you, and you know that He's with you, and no matter what hard your life is, He's there to walk you through it. That's the
Yeah.
thing, bro. And because He gives you the strength to go to do all these things, and so I know that this journey about to go on, this run, it's gonna be, yeah, it's, but I have never had the confidence like this before, because I know that I believe in a God that no matter where I go, He's gonna be there with me every step of the way. I've ran in cornfields, streets that had no lights.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
and I think to myself, like, I would have never done this without God, because I would be like, no, it's too dark. I'll wait till. But you know what? I know that through the darkest fields, through the darkest night, it's the loneliest road, God's walking right there, right by my side. And so that gives me the encouragement and confidence to look up to the Lord and say, you know what, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And if it's in your will, then God help me, because I'm going to walk this for you. And so when you have that sort of confidence and you realize that the gift that he's giving you, you're using it for the good of God, and you have that confidence backing you up, you know what, bro, I think that we could achieve anything in the kingdom, And so Benji, he talks about me running, but so I gotta so this guy he talks about me running, but bro, I'd be waking up and I seen this guy running too. So come on, So Benji's running too. So he talks about me running, but I'm like, wow, I didn't know that Benji runs, And so this guy, he's be running too, And so he talks about me running, but maybe he should join me,
Yeah, I was just about to say, I'm like, we're gonna have to definitely get some jogging in.
Yeah, so
running going.
This guy, he talks about me running, but man, he's a runner himself too. And so I seen him.
I used to run in high school,
Oh,
right?
did you?
Like track and field
Yeah.
and stuff. And I would see the people that do, I think it's called so I did the 4x1. I think it's the 4x4,
Okay.
where it's like they do like 16 laps around the thing or something like that.
Yeah.
Like the really, really long one, right?
Right.
And I always wanted to do that, right? And then but I just stuck to my little, 40-yard sprint or whatnot,
Really?
right? But when I got here, right, I was in long term and I get on the treadmill, right?
Yeah.
I started to run, and I want to run 3.5. I want to run my first
Yeah,
5K
yeah.
to actually do it, because I'll get about a mile in, 2 miles in. But I started, and like where how sometimes like your dopamine is not there, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? In this new area, I don't know people, things are completely new. A lot going on, right? And I was like, but one thing I can do is go and get on that treadmill.
Yeah.
So I start running, right? And then like I'm at like mile 3, right? And I'm getting it. I'm like, but I'm
Right.
tired, bro. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden I hit it and I just scream out. I'm like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Everybody's looking at me like, what's going on, bro? It's just 3 miles. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, you don't understand.
Yeah.
It's so like freeing, like,
Yeah.
and to actually be like, because I saw you run like 11 miles the other day.
Right.
And that right there is like, wow. Like, what goes through your mind when you're running these long distances? Like, what's going on in there?
Bro, you know what? Nobody's ever asked me that, honestly. What goes on in my mind? You know what? When you run long distance, you get to a point where and you could go ask anybody that run a certain distance, like over 10 miles, you get in that mode where you're like focused, And sometimes, like when I run marathons, I don't even remember, like, for the most part, some of the, details. People would come up and they're like, did you see that guy down there at mile 13, 14? I'm like, no, because you're so focused, and you know what? I will tell you this, running does that. It keeps you focused.
Yeah.
That's why I enjoy it so much, because you get out there, and besides the fact that you get in that mode of like just going, you get focused. And so when I'm running, my mind is just at peace, bro. I'm not thinking about a lot of things. I'm not thinking about what I'm gonna do. It makes you survival mode. You're like, okay, it's what I love about running so much is that you're always thinking about that moment. You're not thinking about what I'm gonna do later, what's in the past. You're thinking about the next step, focus, the next step. It's just that moment right there. Nothing else matters but the next step. Nothing else is going on. Your mind is clear. It's just next step. And so when you get in that mode of thinking and you're done running, your mind starts having that, like, oh, live in the moment, next step.
That right there. Hey, do y'all hear this? Like this right here, like, let's go.
Yeah,
That's what I'm talking about. In life, that right there is when you're having a human experience. For those watching, for those hearing, for all that good stuff, right? Look, that right there, what he just described, is a human achievement ability unlocked, because that is a tiger. I like that focus you're talking about, that where, you know what I'm saying, where you've reached a plane and an existence of where, like you say, nothing else matters.
Yeah.
It's you in that next step.
Yep.
Bro, that's beautiful.
Yeah, because bro, you don't have time to think about what's bothering you. You don't have time to think about um, your coworker that's bugging you at work, or your son or daughter that's not listening. You're just thinking about my next step, my next step, my next breath. And so it makes it very simple for you to simplify everything, that you know what, I got to make it through this. And so that teaches me to just survive, think about the moment, and just live in that moment.
Yeah.
You know what? All those miles, 10, 20, even 30 miles.
What?
Yeah, that's
what?
yeah. The longest I've ever ran is 33 miles. And that was that was over in Stillwater.
And he's still standing, bro. How are you
Yeah.
able to move?
Yeah, I had a lot of training, and that was when I was just running every day, bro. And the
Yeah.
nutrition was right, and I was really focused and just getting out there every day. And I started building up those mileage, and before I knew it, I was up into like the 15, 16 miles. And then every day you would always want to get better. You're like, oh, what can I, if I could get 15, can I get 20? And once you get 20, you're like, okay, 20. And you know what, bro, that kind of thinking when you're an addict is not good.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, because
you think like I could do one, but
it's good for other things, but when you have that kind of a mind frame of thinking, like wanting the addiction mind, always wanting more. And so um that's how I was thinking. I was like, man, if I could get 5 miles today, or 5 more tomorrow, and then you just keep pushing yourself. And I started seeing the results, and I was improving. And so I was like, man, I could really get 30. And then one day I just went out and got 30.
Went out and got it.
Yeah, I went out and got
he
it.
said, give me that.
And you know what? The funny thing is, going back to like the miles and the moment, thinking about the moment, people look at you and they're like, that's a lot of miles. But when you're running it, you're taking that moment by moment. It's like celebrating every little moment, living that moment as though it's a lifetime.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then when you live that moment as a lifetime, the mileage don't seem that much, because you're enjoying every little moment. You're taking in, you're appreciating every moment. So the miles might seem long when you think about it, but when you're enjoying every little part of it, it doesn't seem long, because you're like, wow, I'm taking this next step and enjoying this moment for the moment that it is. Then the miles just come and go. But if you're out there and you have this mind frame of thinking like, oh, one more mile, another mile, you're and hating it, it's going to be a long day, bro. It's going to be a tough. But once you accept that, you know what, I'm going to be out here for a while, it's going to hurt, but I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm going to do it, and have an attitude that is positive towards that, then you're going to achieve great things. A lot of people, they would ask me, what's the first thing I need to do before I start running? We wouldn't even put on our shoes and start running. I would be like, you got to check your attitude, bro.
Attitude of gratitude.
Yeah,
For
you got to
real.
be like, you know what? You got to shift that attitude of like, oh, I hate being here, to like, yeah, what's out there? I could conquer that,
And then
whatever's
what's
out.
next? That's
Yeah.
the next adventure.
And so I think the biggest thing about being a runner is you gotta adjust your attitude. You gotta change the way you think and the way your attitude is, to be grateful. So running has taught me that, and I think that God has put that in my life for a reason. To say, you know what, maybe you don't have this yet, but I'm gonna give you something that will provide that for you. And so if you really think about it, and not to get so philosophical on you, but if you really think about the scheme of things, God's already been preparing all those little things, and we didn't realize those things. Why are these things in my life in the first place? Because it's already being prepped for what you're going to do now. And so it all makes sense in that sort of way. So I think that all those little things, like just getting up and having that positive attitude, you're seeing those results now, because I'm like, you know what, I could have a negative attitude today, or I could have a positive attitude and be like, you know what, it's another great day, even if it's not. And you don't have to be all like sunshine and rainbow about it. Don't pretend, don't fake it. But you know what, even if you're having a bad day, just go out there, give your best foot out. You don't have to be all jolly and stuff, but remember that, it's those moments are prepping you for the next moment. And so I really am thankful that God has put running in my life, because it's taught me so much, bro, just to live my life. And now that God really put the spiritual part in it, I feel like it's all coming together now, and so that's why I feel like this is the prime time to get out there and spread the word, because I'm physically able, and spiritually, God has brought me to TC and TCLI to connect with him and get in the Bible and know about him. And so now, because before, bro, when I was an addict, I did like running, but that was it. There was nothing else.
It was just
bro, there was no substance. And there was like nothing backing, no in behind it. It was just like, I just like running. Well, what's the difference between that and a guy that likes shooting pool? It's the same thing. There's nothing. There's no
no fruits,
right.
no food there, nothing.
There's no purpose behind it, And so, although I did enjoy it, I was still doing all the other stuff that I was not supposed to do, But until I came here and I realized that, yes, now I have a purpose to do all those stuff. And that purpose is fulfilling inside, and it's the right purpose.
I would like to thank y'all so much for tuning in. Oh my, this episode was just amazing, y'all. Like, where did y'all hear the passion in that man and his purpose, I want y'all to right now, make sure y'all go to Facebook, Me Free Lee. Go add bro, you'll see his page on there as well with his mission. Make sure y'all go to the GoFundMe. Thank you so much for watching and supporting today. Like, it's truly a blessing and an honor to be able to just to be able to reach y'all and to be able to share these moments with y'all. I'm really lost for words, because as I'm sitting here, I'm realizing that this is just part one, y'all. This is just part one. So me Free Lee, bro, we got so much film, bro, that like where, we had to break it up for the people, for y'all listening to this and hearing my voice right now. This is part one. Part two will be coming very soon. If you enjoyed it and you made it to this far, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification so that way you can get an update when part two drops. Once again, hey, yo, it's your boy Benji. Thank you for tuning in with me today. I truly appreciate you. And I'm just excited. I'm excited, y'all, for this next episode. It's in the works right now. I'm editing. I'm cutting, I'm cropping, I'm doing everything I need to do. You feel me? So that way I can bring y'all that content y'all want. Make sure y'all go to my Shopify, savedbygraceapparel.com. Make sure you grab you a hat, a t-shirt. Make sure you go contact Lee. Get you your running free hat. You feel me? Look, if y'all only knew the journey, the things that one has come from, that this moment right now that wasn't promised is even possible right now. God is so good, y'all. I pray that y'all have a blessed day. Thank you for tuning in. It's Benji's Corner Podcast, Season 2, Episode 2, Part 1. Hey, yo, it's your boy Benji. I'm out.